Welcome back, guys, to We Talk Boxing. And today I'm going to be talking about Frank Sanchez versus Ajit Kabayel. So this fight is going to intrigue quite a lot of boxing fans because it's on the undercard of the Tyson Fury versus Alexander Usyk undisputed belt title fight, which is taking place on the 18th of May. Okay, so literally just under a week now before these two guys, Ajit Kabayel and Frank Sanchez, are set to step into the ring in Saudi Arabia. Now, before I talk about the fight, I'm just going to talk about the card. The card is a very, very good card. There's some brilliant fights on there from the first fight down all the way up until the main event. And there's some good names on the card, as I said. So you got Moses Atama, how you want to pronounce it. He's on the card, which he looks very good. A good Isaac Lowe as well. We got a returning Sergey Kovalev who's on there as well. And then we've got a Joe Cordina. He's on the card. We've got Apataya versus Breedis, which is the second fight from the pair. And then we've got obviously Ajit Kabayel versus Frank Sanchez and Alexander Usyk versus Tyson Fury for the main event. But this fight will entice quite a lot of boxing fans, especially those who love the heavyweight division, because it sees these two guys going up against each other. And both guys got very good boxing records as well, which is quite good to see because you don't really see a lot of guys in their prime obviously going up against each other, because both of these guys are currently undefeated. So technically someone's O has got to kind of go, if you know what I'm trying to say. But we've got Ajit Kabayel, who's currently 24-0 with 16 KOs to his record. So he is a German-based fighter and he's 6'3", currently ranked as the best German boxer, and according to BoxRec, he's ranked number 5 as well in terms of the world rankings. But we don't really take BoxRec's rankings seriously, if you know what I'm trying to say. But Frank Sanchez, on the other hand, he's currently 24-0 as well, 17 KOs to his name. So both guys have got similar KO percentage rates, okay, and a similar amount of knockouts on their record. But Frank Sanchez is currently ranked as the best Cuban boxer, which is out, and there's quite a few other Cubans in the division as well, which I could go on, which I could speak about later. But in terms of BoxRec, they've got him ranked as number 9th best heavyweight in the world currently as well. And as I said, we don't really take that seriously. But he's 6'4", he's 31 years of age, and he resides out in Miami. So he's pretty much based himself in America, which is quite good to see. In terms of activity for both of them, we've got Frank Sanchez. He's quite active. He's had 3 fights last year. Okay, first one being in April, then September, and then December. And his first opponent was a Daniel Martz, and he beat him in 1 round. You know what I mean, which is quite straightforward in America. And then he fought against Scott Alexander, okay, which was the 7th round, which he got retired. He retired his opponent before taking on a junior fighter as well, who he beat in Saudi Arabia in 7 rounds. Now, those 3 opponents are no one to get excited by, but it's just activity. And for a fighter, activity is key. You want to be active, and you want to be getting as much experience, even though he doesn't really need much experience because he's got a good amateur record as well. But you want to just be getting out there and fighting against opponents, even if it's not the best opponents. You just want to have people on your record as well. He had 2 fights as well in 2022, and he's got some half decent names on his record. Frank Sanchez as well. Obviously, Christian Hammer, more of a journeyman these days, but he's got him on his record. He's got a Jagba as well, which at the time was considered to be a very good prospect as well. So yeah, not too bad, but nothing to kind of get overly excited about in terms of his boxing record. It's just more about activity and trying to push up in the rankings. But this fight will kind of tell us a little bit more exactly where he is. You know what I mean? Does he deserve his rankings currently at this present moment in time? Does he deserve to maybe get a world title shot in the near future as well? But in terms of his opponent anyway, Ajit Kabayel, yeah, he's been active. He's had 2 fights last year. First one being in March, last one being in December. And the first one was against Askamachi. I don't know who that is. But anyway, he beat him in 3 rounds, which was another German-based boxer. No, yeah, probably German-based boxer. I don't really know. But anyway, he fought him in Germany. And then he fought Makhmudov, which we all know about Makhmudov. He's a massive heavyweight, and he surprisingly somehow beat him. I didn't see that one happening because I did do pretty much a video in regards to that, and I just didn't see Ajit Kabayel kind of stopping him, and that's pretty much what it is because it was a technical stoppage, and he actually dropped him as well 3 times in that fight, which is quite crazy to kind of think that he could do that. But yeah, very, 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 very good win from Ajit Kabayel. But in terms of his record, he obviously had one fight in 22, which against Pavel Sor, one fight in 21 against Kevin Johnson, and then one fight in 20, and then one fight in 19. So he hasn't been the most active of fighters, Kabayel, but he's having one fight a year, so he's kind of considered an inactive fighter. But he's got the names of like Rudenko on his record. He's got Derek Chisora, which is quite good to see because he's been in there with some decent people. But he was, and he probably still is actually, the EBU champion, which is the European Boxing Union champion. So he's the European champion basically. So this fight will pretty much tell us a lot more about him as well in terms of whereabout he is in the boxing rankings, and does he deserve his ranking? Does he deserve to maybe push on and get a world title shot? Because both of these guys, potentially, this could be a title eliminator because they are ranked quite nicely in the division. Frank Sanchez is currently 6 in the ring, 6 in the IBF, and 4 in the WBO. 3 in the WBO, 4 in the WBA, and 2 in the WBC. So he's ranked very highly in the division. So again, depends on what actually happens, will determine whether or not he could maybe push on. But in terms of Kabayel, on the other hand, 10 in the Ring Magazine, 7 in the IBF, 9 in the WBA, 8 in the WBO, and 3 in the WBC. So yeah, good rankings from the pair, but this fight is pretty much to kind of tell us a lot more because there's some good heavyweights out there, and obviously Kabayel beat one of the up-and-coming ones, which he thought maybe would probably kind of take over once the big boys have kind of pushed on. But it could have just been a one of these mad, crazy performances from Makhmudov that he just couldn't get up for it. But you got the likes of, obviously, Gerard Anderson in there. Still got Joe Joyce floating around, depending on what happens with him. You got Hergovich, you got Zhang, got Parker, Joshua, Fury, Usyk, etc. So there's some good names in the division, and then you got the young pups as well, who are maybe going to look to try and take over in the next couple of years, such as your Italma, and maybe even the Daniel Dubois once all the big boys have gone. But you guys can let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Who are you putting your money on in this fight? Is it going to be Frank Sanchez or Ajit Kabayel? And by what method of victory? Is it going to be a technical stoppage, or is it going to be a flat out KO, or potentially is this going to go the distance to points? Yeah, let me know your thoughts. But one thing I would say is that Kabayel, he is quite durable. In terms of Sanchez, I don't know how durable he is at this moment in time, just because of the level of opposition that he has been in there with. I can't really say that those guys have actually tested his chin. But one thing that I can tell you is that, obviously, Kabayel actually put Makhmudov down, and he's a massive heavyweight with a big head. So if he could put him down, then potentially he can maybe put Sanchez down if he catches him. But yeah, let me know your thoughts, and as always, please subscribe and comment. Bless.